Here, you can exercise your rights to freedom every day without leaving your home. We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
Good afternoon, Anna. Happy New Year from the Real Talk team. Yes, the slate has been wiped clean, which means an opportunity for you to set the right tone for how you want your 2018 to be. If you've ever needed any motivation to go after your wildest dreams, there's probably one person who could convince you to do the importance of self-belief daily. The man who has turned his personal mantra of I believe into a powerful brand. Our guest today has received high acclaim for the role he played in the development of music in South Africa. So listen, he's been called many things: the father of dance music, the pioneer of popularizing kwaito, the premier of the music industry. Many a successful artists like Black Coffee, DJ Zinhle, Mafikizolo, Tembisiete, Tebe. The list is endless. They all have high praise for the man and what he has done for their careers. We are talking about seasoned recording artist, legendary DJ, in-demand producer, savvy businessman, Oskido Mdlongwa. We welcome him on New Year's Day. Welcome.
Yeah.
So, for me, my birthday last 3 months, eh?
Yeah.
So, you turn 50, like in December, ne?
Yes,
So
in November, 29 November.
We're going to sing. I'm counting you down. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, yo.
Happy birthday to you. We can give happy birthday, dear Oskido. Oscar, happy birthday to you.
Yep.
What are you guys using on your skin that you don't want to age? What's going on?
I'm sure it's the life which we live. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
You're living like...
Being there on the road, doing music, and also, you know, and
I can't believe that because, you know, especially the industry you're in, it's very youth-obsessed.
Yes.
Didn't it scare you, like, when you turned 40, where you're like, yo, by the time I'm 50, these kids are going to want me out of here, and now you're 50, and we expect to see you at Taboo?
No, not at all. I think it's the type of music which I do, you know. And I play dance music, you know, so therefore, you must understand that also when you're playing dance music, I've seen generations coming in of the clubs, you know, new kids coming in that, so therefore it keeps me going. And I never actually think of age as anything, you know. Yes.
So how do you, because if you've done this for 28 years, you've seen a lot of genres come and go, and things are fashionable and then they're not fashionable anymore. How do you protect the Oskido sound? Because as much as things may come, I can always hear about, Oskido's on here.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it's because, you know, I always go to different places. You can find me today playing in a gig in Toronto, in Canada.
Nice.
And you find that after that, maybe the following night, I'm in New York. By the time I land here, you find me that I'm in Diepsloot.
Yes.
You know, I'm there where we are born. And so therefore it helps me to go, you know, and visit and go and play in all these different territories. And for me, I get to understand what is happening on the ground as long as you're on the streets. So I'm always on the streets, keeping my head there, understanding and say, okay, where is it going? And I think what's important is life. Once you've got ability to change, you keep going.
So when I look at you, and I'm like, okay, here's Oskido. For me, you immediately remind me of somebody like Pharrell, ne? He can exist in any space. Sometimes he's selling spinach. Sometimes he's selling music. Sometimes he's selling, you know, creative.
Hot dogs.
And you are that person. You're selling us hot dogs. You're selling us music. I mean, if you had to tell me this tracksuit is yours, I'd buy it as well and be like, tracksuit Oskido. But one thing he said is how he sees music and how he hears it. He says it comes to him in colors. You know,
Yes.
first a song like with Happy, because I'm Happy says it just came in like hordes of color. Sometimes a song comes in one color. How do you see music? Do you first hear the beat? Do you hear the rhythm? Do you hear the melody?
Well, it's different. It depends what space you're in, you know. I mean, we all got different ways of doing it. For example, let me give you an example. When I did Mafikizolo Morabi, I went
That actually defined a look for them.
Yes, yes.
'Cause
So
they never look
therefore,
back from
yeah.
looking
So
that
therefore,
way.
I mean, I was sleeping, and I just had this, you know, this bass line. I just went into the studio, and I started like, you know, playing it, and I had to call a guy who plays the guitar to come in and say, I've got this melody, I really want to do. And when I called Nhlanhla and Theo to say, this is the song. So it came in that space.
Did you know it was a Mafikizolo song, or did you think, maybe I can give it to this person, maybe I can give it to that person?
No. Different songs, what I want to show is how songs come to me differently. So that was a Mafikizolo thing, and I felt that, boom, this will work for Mafikizolo, and I called them. For example, the Makeba song, which really launched the Pongo Muffin career, you know,
Listen,
Pongo Muffin. So what happened, I was, so I was at a restaurant in Melville, and they were playing the Pata Pata song, and I hadn't heard that song for ages. And it was actually for me to see it being played where, you know, people are relaxing and all that. And all of a sudden, when I went to the bathroom, then, you know, something, it kept on ringing. Then I started singing the lyrics, you know. Na ipum shaka, it was meant for pum shaka. So the whole night I was like, hiyo mama, na ipum shaka. And from there, boom, you know, I called Mandla. I said, wow, you know, I've got this song. Let's redo this song. You know, we programmed it, and when Pumshaka came, we gave them the song. And then, wow, they listened to it. And, you know, they digged it, you know, Lebu, Tembi, and all that, and yeah. But it ended up being a Pongo Muffin song.
How? did Pongo Muffin buy it from them? Did they convince them otherwise?
Actually, what happened is that at that time, then, you know, things didn't work out with Pumshaka. They decided that they want to leave the label. You know, then it was just, you know, it happened, and then from there it was a career decision. Then we say, no, it's fine, you can think. Then from there, that's when we're creating Pongo Muffin. So that's when I said, wow, you know, let's change it. Then from there, we're to call in Tandiswa, you know, Stone, Jasid, Speedy. I mean, wow, if you listen to Tandiswa, she took it to another level.
Yeah, because she's like the original songbird of South Africa.
Yeah.
I was reading on your Instagram when you said you had to convince her to do music.
Yes, I mean, she used to study vets.
Yeah.
So what happened is that my partner, Don Laka, had actually seen her at Shell Road to Fame. I think it was during the semi-finals, and she didn't make it. And Don told me that, you know, Oscar, you need to go and look for this girl. You know, she's got a voice. I saw her, she couldn't make it. And I had to go vets, look for Tandiswa until I found her. And that time she had done something with a group called Check Knife, Tandiswa and Fresh's wife, Tabiso. And then, you know, she was studying and she was saying, no, guys, I can't do this. You know what, I'm focusing on my studies. Then we say, no, fine, you can do it part-time. So if you can check the first Pongo Muffin album, she wasn't there. So when we did the second one, that's when she started coming into the studio. And then, you know, she started working. And then eventually, boom, you know, she found her space.
You know, when you're telling me about going to find Tandiswa, in my head, I can see a picture where she was sitting at a lunch table, and on this side was Michael Jackson, and on this side was Nelson Mandela, right? And it's because you went to go and find her.
Yeah, I had to go there at Vets, you know. I remember with my Jetta. You know, I used to drive a red Jetta, go in there, you know, in their reds, and we sat and we spoke, and he says, no, this and that. But eventually, I think once she started coming into the studio, we said it's fine. We want you to finish your degree, whatever you're studying. But eventually, what I'm glad is that now it's a career. Music is a career.
Dude, okay, listen. So many people have got stories like this to say about you. Such wonderful stories to say about him. It would have been easy, very easy for Oskido to develop an ego with all the contribution he's added to music. But the man has always remained humble. More on his journey coming up after the break. Taken from his 2017 album released 50 Degrees, this is Oskido with Skaba Forgiva. Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC 3. The stage is yours and a happy 2018. So for every song that's created an everlasting flashback that transports you to one of your favorite memories, every artist you've admired and every proudest South African moment you've enjoyed, chances are that this veteran DJ, producer, artist and businessman Oskido had a hand in nurturing that talent. He began doing this in 1992 when he and DJ Christos, as well as Don Laika, entered into a partnership with Galawa Records, now known as Galawa Jazzme. So, okay, so you making brevos outside a club, ne?
Yeah.
Very long ago.
Yeah.
Did you put onions in them? Because the ones with the onions are always the best.
No, it didn't, man.
Okay, so all these artists that you started with, when they come to your house, is it still like a specialty, like, guys, let me make you those brevos rolls I used to make back in the day?
Well, they know that, when you come there, you're always going to get food, Okay. They know that, I like, making food. All right. Yeah.
Did you carry your music with you everywhere you went in case something happens, like that day where you were making the puru rolls and then the resident DJ didn't pitch?
Well, I didn't have records that time. Remember, I was trying to, why I was outside the club there selling was because I didn't have a place to sleep. Oh. And I had my hot dog stand there. But what happened is that I had to go in and finish and wait for the main DJs to start playing. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I'll borrow their vinyls. You remember those days, we're playing vinyls. Mm. So the late Ian Sikola actually gave me his vinyls and he said that it's fine, you can play. And from there, I'll play for the, the cleaners, the workers, while it's the thing. So that's how I started teaching myself how to mix. When people are leaving, the barmen, they're putting back their stock and all that. I'll be just playing the music there.
People are coming back looking for their cell phones and their handbags.
Yeah, we
like, I got my watch here. I got my watch. I saw the brown one too.
Yeah.
But how do you know you want to do music? I mean, your father was a politician.
Yes.
Why not go into politics?
Well, to be honest, I think when I saw this movie, Pitt Street, I saw this movie when I was young. It was back in 1985. And when I saw this movie, Pitt Street, it's actually a hip-hop movie, of breakdancers. But these guys, they stay in the Bronx in New York. And then, the Bronx, it's a ghetto in New York. It's like Alex and whatever. But through, the dance, then from there, they end up sitting in the boardrooms, making big decisions in New York City. For me, that's when I understood that because of the cultural identity which they got, which was dance through, for them to be parts, of this in terms of the dance movement. Yeah. They could transform, from where they were coming from, poor society, and also running things. So I said, listen, I want to be that kid. Then from there, I started pursuing my career in the music space, but I was a dancer, I was a break dancer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can break dance for you. Come on.
Even today.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Body pop, it's called body popping.
I bet when you woke up this morning, you didn't know that was going to be part of your day, right? Okay.
So therefore, I used to have my ghetto blaster, body popping, and I would go there, starting the dance crew. And also, it was more on the hip-hop culture, So therefore, dance crew, I had my ghetto blaster coming in, the dance crews. And from there, I ended up having my own, book of writing rhymes. And then from there, you know, every time when I was doing it, I was seeing this picture that, you know, I want to run the music industry.
Because, you know, recently you also posted a video and your son was performing and you jumped on and you started rapping with him. I was like, Oskido, what rapper? What rapper? So now this makes sense because that is where you started.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I started. Remember that even the hip hop culture, when you look back here in South Africa, when YFM started back in 1997, you know, I had a show called Rap Activity Jam, which I still have now on Metro. But I was, all the early rappers, the guys who started rapping, Squatter Camp and all that, I mean, they used to come to that show. So that was the idea.
Even Fresh used to DJ hip-hop before you went into...
Yeah. I mean, we used to play a lot of hip-hop.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can listen to the early Boom Shaka stuff, It's About Time. When you listen to that record, it's got a bit of soul, it's got a bit of raga, it's got a bit of rap, hip-hop.
So here's the thing when it comes to the entertainment industry, is that talent is in abundance, right? Talent, like, everyone can be talented, but management is a problem, and then turning your talent into business is a problem.
Yes.
And so what I've always applauded when people are speaking about you, and I mean, Fresh speaks highly about you, Sizwe, like the story Sizwe tells me about you, yeah, hot man, you know, mentor. And he always speaks about how good of a businessman you are. How did you convert that? Because, I mean, anyone like with talent, like entertainment talent, we struggle to convert it to become business people.
Yeah, I think it was through rejection. You know, when someone say, no, you can't do this. So what happened is that after DJing at the clubs, whatever, then I met Don Laka and Christos, then we formed Kalawa, you know, Kalawa Records.
Yeah, what's up? This is DJ Christos. We're celebrating Oskido's 50th birthday, 50 years in the making. Known the guy for like 25 years. We kind of met, roamed the streets of Hillbrow, formed Kalawa, still partners, doing a lot of ventures together. One of the humblest guys that I know within the industry, great friend, a brother, all in all. A great drummer as well. I'm not sure if I approve of the drums, but either way, love the guy and big ups. Stay blessed, my brother.
And from there, because I used to run a club with the late Ian Sikola called Arena in Hillbrow, so I used to have all these dancers coming here. I used to call them afternoon sessions. You know, they would come and dance. That's where I met Lebu Tembi, Theo. You know, they used to call themselves LMT girls. You know, Lebu and Tembi, they're their own group. So therefore, Womandoza, they used to come and dance there. So a lot of dance crews used to come to this club, you know. Then from there, when I met Don Laka, that's when I said, listen, you know what? I've also got these kids who can sing and whatever. So that's when Boom Shaka was born. You know, then we wanted a reggae muffin guy, and then Junior came through, and you know, actually he came with the name Boom Shaka. And from there we recorded, because we had recorded this song. It's Imakwerekwere with Don, and then from there we did the instrumental, me and Christos of Brothers of Peace, BOP. Then from there, we had these two products, Boom Shaka and BOP. So then we went to the majors, you know, EMI, BMG, wanting to release these records. They say, no, it's not going to work. Remember that time, the bubblegum era was big, Chico, Brenda, so therefore our sound was not known. So therefore, they rejected us. So therefore, the business aspect came in where, you know, we sat down and said, guys, this product is good. Where can we go and get press cassettes? Then we got a place where we had to press 500 tapes. Then we started selling them from the boot of our cars. We'll go into, because me and Christos were big in the tertiary level, we'll go at varsities, you know, there used to be Kumbas at Vets Tech, Vets, Medunsa and all that. So we'll go Libolebu in Tembi, you know, they will perform there, you know, dancing, while I'm DJing, me and Christos. And eventually, you know, the student market liked our music. And I remember we approached then by Peter Mkaba, the late Peter Mkaba, the ANC Youth League president, because he wanted to be a DJ. He would come and stand with his records and all that. Then he says, guys, can you join me in my rallies? You know, because they used to go at taxi ranks talking about HIV and all that. So we will also come in there, put our system. When they finish, we started playing our music. Lebu and Tembi, Boom Shaka, perform. So taxi drivers started liking our music. So this thing, you know, we had an audience. For me,
And I
I'll
mean-
call it, it was the internet of that time.
Exactly, and if you can get every taxi to play your song,
Yes,
you must
yes.
remember that a
Yeah.
taxi sees about 100 people a day.
Yes.
That's 100 customers.
Most definitely, man. So therefore, they started
What a
ordering
way.
our music, and then whenever radio wasn't playing us that time, and then from there, boom, our music started becoming big. The record labels, the majors who rejected us, started calling us, EMI, PMG, saying, hey, we want to talk to you. So then from there, I said, okay. Went there, me, Don, and Christos, and when we got into the office, they say, guys, we want to sign you. But we said, well, what do you want to sign us on what basis? We can't sign as artists. Then they say, no, we want to help you in terms of packaging yourself properly, the cassettes, or whatever. Then we took out the cassette and say, can you see this? We've packaged it ourselves. The fact that, you know what, you guys think you can help us, we can do it. Then they say, no, we want to help you with the marketing. We said, no, this
We've
record
covered
is
that.
already in demand. Remember, we are marketing without our music being played on radio. Already, I've got my own people who are following me because we had created a crowd. I mean, a huge following in varsity students and all that. So therefore,
What can you offer us?
marketing. All we need from you is distribution. That's it. Do you understand? Because now it used to cost us a lot to find that maybe we've got 1,000 tapes, someone has to deliver them in Durban. You know, by the time they come back, you know, they have to book hotels, petrol, whatever. So, you know, I started understanding business, that the business has got expenses, you know. Then by the time when they come back, you find that 80% is gone. Your only profit is about 20%. So therefore we said, boom, we need distribution. That's how I became a businessman.
Boom. More to come with Oskido as we continue on his journey that's marked a successful 28-year career in South African and intercontinental music. We'll be right back.
Massive respect to the young blood. Listen to the kids, bro.
And welcome back to Real Talk, where we're getting ready to say goodbye to legendary performer, businessman Oskido. In 2012, Oskido's undeniable contribution to music in South Africa earned him a special recognition award at the Channel O Music Video Awards. However, it's not just in business where Oskido has enjoyed a fruitful life. He's also a proud father of 6 and recently got to work with his own son, like I was telling you earlier, producer bass on his 50 Degrees album as part of the milestone to mark his 50th birthday celebration. So, I mean, because you know how tough the industry can be, when your kids were like, this is it, want to do this, where you're not like, woka, woka.
No, it's always been like that. And when my son does it, he knows he does it on part-time basis because it's a very nasty industry.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Look, it's ultimately fulfilling, right?
Yeah, no, it is. But you must understand, and also you must always, you know, make sure that when things are not working,
Something else is.
something else.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
So how do you, because sometimes it's not a finished product when you see someone, but something has to strike you in them, and you're like, you know what, I can work with that, and I can hone it, and I can polish it, and I can then make a label Matosa, or I can make a Tandiswa Mazwai.
Yeah.
What do you look for? What must happen to you? Like, must your ears twitch, or must your shoulders move? Like,
Well, it's different things at different spaces. For example, if I give you an example with Zonke, Zonke came, she used to come to the studio to accompany her sister Lulu, and you know, because you know, we were signing her sister Lulu, and we'd signed her, and later she would assist her. But you know, I could see her ability, and from there I said, wow, you know what? Then we did a jingle. I remember we did a jingle for a product, and from there I could check that she was more on the R&B tip. And then from there I could see her vocal, you know, the way she writes. Then from there I said, no, let's talk. I'm really going to offer you a record deal. And that's how Zonke came into the music space. You know, for example, a guy like Professor used to come and stay, you know, at my place, at the studio, hustling to be on the thing, but I didn't understand him until one day, you know, when he went into studio, we were recording, and he started writing things, and that's when I started taking him serious. Because, now he's one of the best writers. For example, the best vocalist at the moment, the best, writer in dance music, Kinogwazi, Inogwazi Dlamini. She used to be a backing singer for Tandiswa. But when I saw her, then, she reminded me of Pusi Mhlongo. And, I've been with her at the studio, working with her. But look at her now. She's done a lot of big records in the past 3 years or so. So it comes in differently, this thing. I won't say this is how it happens.
Have you ever missed out on someone and they...
Yes.
Who?
Zahara.
No!
I did.
Oscar!
I'm serious. We had a gig in East London. What happens is that we had another gig in PE, so I was going with Zinhle. So therefore, I saw her perform on stage. Then I say, wow, Zinhle, check, I like that girl, but I didn't understand. Then from there, when we were about to leave, then we went to try and find out who she was. Then the sister, I think the sister or the brother came to us saying, no, her name is Spinach. And then she came, then said, no, she's got a cassette, a CD, which they want to give us, so that we could listen on the road, going back to PE. So I was with Zinhle. Then we said, okay. And I don't know, but this promoter really wanted us to go, And they ran. This guy ran saying that she's going to your house, saying, so Spinach. I think she used to, her name was Spinach that time.
Unata still calls her Spinach.
Spinach, yeah. And this guy, and we left. And later, boom. I say, wow, Zinhle gives me a call. So do you remember that girl? But also the other one, Simpiwe Dana, she used to come at Kalawa. And she used to come and just sit at the studio. And, she didn't really say she wants to... Actually, she said she wants to sing. But that time we're doing Kwaito, And we're like, this girl, she will sit there, the studio, whatever. And I remember doing this POP track. Then we called her, say, no, here's your line. Because we'll restrict, Kwaito was just only one line. And she's saying that over and over again. And we recorded it. One of the first POP tracks, she was there. And then, boom, later, 3, 4, 5 years later, wow. Dear Eddie. Bruce says, do you remember her? I say, wow. So it happens that you miss.
You miss, but the fact that they are around you means that there's there's a magnetic force about you that then, that brings the talent. Who's your soundboard? Who do you trust the most with anything you're doing? They're the first person you'll give something to, be like, la 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 la.
Well, it's a crowd. I do my test bites or whatever. Once I have the music, and then from there, if I really want to find out, how it tests, I'm out there in the crowd. I go in, because you see, good thing, as I explained earlier, I play in different platforms. I'll go in and then check it out and say, okay, if it works or whatever. I do a lot of research on the ground, in the streets.
So you don't do that thing where the DJ's like, I want to play something new for you guys. Do you just slip it in and see how it reacts? No,
I slip it in. Especially when I believe in it, I slip it in. By the time, when I've got a new record, I played 4 or 5 times at the club. By the time you leave, everyone is singing about it. Yeah.
Okay. So a friend of yours, they found out that we're going to be speaking to you, and they're like, there's no ways you can speak to him and not allow me to say something to him. So roll it.
All right, Charlie, I see you on TV now, making it big on that show. Anele, how are you? The impact you've had on my life has been major. How we talk about our children, how we talk about family, how we talk about, all things that is life. How we've shared conversations in business, how you've insisted that, I take the Kaya job. When I got the call, I wasn't really ready to go back into radio. I was trying to enjoy my life as an entrepreneur. And you insisted, you and TK. So I guess I wouldn't have walked this path. And it's been such a wonderful path. We met almost 25 years ago. We hosted a big gig in Bizo 95, one of the biggest events ever. It combined everyone all on the same stage. Bob and Dr. Kumalo were kind of performing for the first time in front of a huge crowd. People had never seen DJ Christos, Vinny Da Vinci, yourself, Boom Shaka, Teve, all on one stage. This was really massive. And when you started playing that set at 8 a.m. the next morning, having started at 12, all of those different moments, I knew that we were destined to do this all our lives. We were destined to create communication through the arts, to communicate with people, to talk to young people, to talk to younger and older people.
Yo, Craig Maluka.
Right? So, he DJs a bit. I've been to a few of his gigs, Oskido, and they're amazing. So if he DJs a bit, does it mean you're going to own a radio station a bit?
Who?
You.
We own a radio station, me and him in Lesotho.
Is
yes,
that
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, man, nemali, man.
No, nemali. Akusukuthi nemali. What I do is that I network. I really understand my space, and I go out there and start saying whatever. It's not a matter of food to nemali.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how do you. When you're in certain spaces, because you have to look at opportunities and say, listen, where do you go? What do you do? Yeah.
Okay, so I want to paint a scenario for you. Let's say we're at F&B, ne?
Yeah.
And it's packed, like a space, people are outside, and you're on stage, ne? And you're DJing, and you've got the crowd here, ne? And now you have to play a song that is going to basically have us speaking the way Greg was speaking 25 years later and be like, yo, I'm fine. Yeah, and you're taking Coca-Cola, and then Oskido dropped the song. I dropped everything, and I had to run back to the crowd to dance. What's that song?
To be Zabalaza, the POP song.
Ne?
Yes.
With the trumpets, nyana.
Yes. I mean, that was a definition. That was a definition of where we changed Kwaito. Kwaito used to be more of slow beats per minute. But what happened is that we upped it to now faster tempo, 120. And then we started using, live instrument, having Bopra U blowing things out there, meeting the young and the old. And that defined us. And that was the first record, actually, to start opening doors in house music for South African house music, because Louis Vega picked it up and it was signed by Masters at Work, so it became a worldwide kind of big, and that's when people started noticing where we are in the space of dance music.
Okay, and yesterday at the Greyville Racecourse, what was the... No, the Greyville is the picnic.
It's tonight. It's today.
It's today.
It's on as we speak.
Okay,
it's
so you're going to go back to that now?
Yes. I'm going to be coming there, Greyville Host Track. It's happening right now, and it's fire. Last night I was out there in Richards Bay. Wow, I enjoyed. And right now is Welcome 2018. Let's make it happen.
What's our 2018 slogan? 2018. 20. And get it has to rhyme with 18. What is it?
Well, I don't know. You say 20, what's slating?
Slating.
Maybe it's on. It's at the slate.
Okay, Oskido's given it the stamp of approval, 2018. A big thank you to the Grootman himself, Oskido. Here's hoping that 2018 you can too believe, so that nothing stands in the way of what you want to achieve and the great things that you want for yourself. This has been a great chat with Oskido. Stay tuned. We want to find out what your year is going to be like, and I've brought my friends. We're going to read palms and stuff. Look at numbers. Come back. Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC 3. The stage is yours. Now, you and I probably don't put much significance into the date, January 1st, 2018, further than it being an excuse for us to party. But for Sandy Smith, these numbers have an entire story to tell. In 1994, she developed her own numerology system by studying and researching tarot and astrology, as well as numerology. Today, she's here to help us look back at the year that was and what interesting things we can predict about 2018. Take a look at what she said about President, Robert Mugabe in the week leading up to his resignation.
So firstly, Robert Gabriel Mugabe is born on the 21st of February 1924, and he's currently 93 years old. It's really interesting because he's got the gift of the gab. He's got very good language. He's about money and he's about power. He's about how I look, my appearance. And we know he wears his ZANU-PF colourful jackets wherever he goes with the scarves, etc. He is currently in a 6-3 year, so his health is actually not good, excluding the fact that he is 93. But I feel that because his birthday is coming up in February, where he is now, his Robert is a 6, he's in a 6 year, there's a complete lack of focus. It's almost like his memory is starting to fail him, but he's still, his age adds to 3, which says he's still very important. So it's quite interesting, because he's got double hidden 5s, that the 21st of November coming up this week, if Robert Mugabe doesn't step down, then he will be impeached. And that day actually also adds to a double 5 with a 6 outcome. So actually on the 21st is a really, really bad day for him. And I think that you will find that as of next year, he's going to move, he's going to change direction. And this will kind of start 2 months before his birthday, so it could be around the 21st of December already that he's making some moves, and the move could be to leave the country.
So when you said he's going to move, you meant out of the presidential house into a pensioner's home?
Not necessarily. I think it might be sort of one of those boxes.
Oh, the one that goes 6 feet?
It could be the one
That
that
way?
goes 6 feet, yeah. Because I think he's...
Heard it's dark down there.
But you know, he's got one of those bomb basement things in his house anyway, so he probably...
So he's been there already?
He's been there already,
All right.
yeah.
So this is so fascinating. Now, I've always been obsessed about numbers. I don't know, like, not in a numerology way, though. Just like certain numbers mean things to me. So for you to be here is pretty fascinating for me. Can you explain numerology to us and how it ties in with telling us who we are?
Okay, so your name that gets registered on your birth certificate is the map of your life. And every letter within your name will define a time in your life and what will happen. And then your date of birth, it will tell you in the collective with your names who you are, where you're going, what you do, how you do it, when you do it. It'll tell you about marriage and children and your money and your career, your health. It'll tell you about moves. Name an area in your life, it will tell you that. And then because of those numbers that you're born with, every day of your life, you use those numbers. So when you buy a car, you'll find your engine number and your chassis number are yours on condition that you stepped out and bought the car, not mommy or daddy, because they would have their numbers. But that's like when you buy a house, you'll find that the stand number is yours and the house number is relative to one of your numbers that you have, yes.
Okay, let's go through my numbers. I am born on the 19th of May, 1984.
Okay, so interesting, your Anele is a 1, your Zintatu is an 11, very important.
Lots of ones, eh?
And then your Mdoda is a 1. You're born on the 19th, which also adds to a 1. It's got a 1 and a 1, 9. It also adds to a 1. And you've got a life path 1.
Which means?
Which this tells you that you are a leader, you're not a follower. You wake yourself up, you get your life going, you get your day going. You've got initiative and leadership.
Okay.
But your Zintatu is an 11 and your Anele Mdoda is an 11. And that says that in my life, I will be out there for the people. I will have cause and effect on the masses. It also says that you will do some charity work or social responsibility work. But your Anele Zintatu Mdoda adds to a 22-4, which says you're actually going to be quite good with property. But you are a person who develops and builds. So whether it is you're doing it for people, you're building a brand, you're building a company, or that you're physically in, building and renovating property. Born in the month of May, so this is where your academic side sits. But I think that there's a little bit more of the lazy.
Yeah, I was about to say, there is no academic side.
It actually is there. I think your study, if there's study, you have to do the practical at the same time. Otherwise, it's a waste of time for you. You've got double hidden 6s, which says you're obsessive compulsive. You get fixations. This is where your sharp tongue and your wit sits in your 6s. It also, because it also tells you...
Fascinating, I must just say.
It tells you where you are. Since your birthday last year, May, coming to this birthday, you've made some kind of move and change of direction on the home front. And that move can be a physical property move, but it can be even about a vehicle move. But it says there's been a lot of travel for you as well.
My makeup artist is laughing because she knows I moved houses. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your age is vitally important because, you know, you've got 2 11s, which are power numbers. Because in numerology, you've got 1 to 9. And then you've got another 9 numbers, which is 11, 22, 33, 44, etc.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 11s, a 22, and you're currently 33.
Yes.
And it's always a very critical turning point in everybody's life because this is a time when the penny actually goes into the slot. So you start to get the recognition and acknowledgement. You've also been formulating a lot of ideas over the past 2 years, but your timing of doing them started better this past November, last month, even more so than it has over the past 2 years. And your ideas, and people are wanting to connect with you, people that you've spoken to before going, oh my gosh, I've got to phone Anele because she spoke of that, and it's now, they're suddenly getting it. They're getting what it is.
Okay, so now these, and I mean, you and I have now eaten up our time here, but these are all positives. Do you ever come across numbers and then they're negative and you have to tell someone bad news?
And I will tell them, but in a way that the outcome is not going to be so. So I'm going to rather empower them than take away power. So that kind of brings in like where you are going at your next birthday, but it's also where we are going from 2017 to 2018. So where you are going, you are on the move. You've got enormous things happening in your life. You're making moves in your career. So it's very big, and I think that there's more awards and rewards that are coming for you in your next year.
Sandy, we're out of time, but I want everyone to now connect with you.
Yes.
Can they get hold of you?
Yes, first of all, I'm on all of the platforms. Sandy's Numerology on Facebook, Sandy Numerology on YouTube. I've just launched that. It's only 3 weeks old and it's doing well. I'm on Twitter, which is @Sandy Numerology. So I'm on all the platforms, and they can email me, sandy@numerology.co.za.
You have to get hold of her. Thank you so much to numerologist Sandy Smith. Sandy does consult. She just told you she does one-on-one basis on all those platforms. Get hold of her. On the other side of this, from numbers to motivation, please make sure you stay with us. Welcome back to Real Talk as we get ready to wrap up the first show of the new year when the clock strikes 12 on the December 31st rather. That serves as the reminder of all the ways in which we have promised to do better in the new year, like chasing after our goals, letting go of bad habits. But how many of us stay the course to see our goals achieved? Welcome back to Real Talk, international motivational speaker and adventurer Robby Kojetin. As far as inspiring and influencing others goes, they don't come more highly recommended than Robby and his unbelievable story of getting himself out of a wheelchair to summiting Mount Everest. He's also the author of Left Foot, Right Foot, a story about falling down and getting up. You're back because last time I was heavily motivated by you and I was like, we need this flavor for 2018. So let's say I've made a resolution. How do I stick to it?
First of all, don't call it a resolution. Yes. I often believe that people start things on stupid days. Like 1st of January is the worst time to start anything. Rather make something that means something to you and do it. If it's important to you, do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Or even better, do it today. Before the sun goes down, get that done.
When you say make something, what? Make a dish, make a cake, make
Whatever
the bed?
you want to do. If you're going to make something happen for you, no one's going to be doing it for you. Unfortunately, there's no 3-wish genies that you're going to find in a lamp on a beach somewhere. If it's going to happen, it's up to you.
And so, I mean, we always highlight the fact that you got out of a wheelchair and you summited Mount Everest. When it's in words, it sounds very easy, but I mean, you are the only person in the world who can tell us the physical of it. So when you decided to do that, to get off the wheelchair, you know, what kind of things were you telling yourself? What words were you sticking them up on your wall? Were you constantly saying them to yourself?
It's a number of things. It's a process. It's not a one. There's no silver bullet, unfortunately. For me, I had to change the way that I was talking to myself in my head. You know, instead of this, I'm not going to heal, it became, I'm going to get better and stronger than I was yesterday. Even if it's a little bit. You do that the day after that and the day after that, and it's a process. And you've got to just keep at it. If you need to get a vision board on Pinterest. If you need to print out a picture and stick it somewhere where you can see it. I always tell people, look at your goals often, keep them at eye level where you'll see them all the time, and allow them to affect your everyday decisions. So if there's something big, if you wanted to climb Mount Everest, which I'm not sure if you want to, apparently it's quite high.
I'll be at the bottom handing out coffee.
Fantastic. We'd love someone like you there. If you're going to do that, look at the goal often. Remind yourself, why do you want to do it? Make sure it's a genuine goal. Don't do it to please anyone else. And let the things you're doing today affect what you want for tomorrow. You know, if you're on your way home and you're going to blow some money on takeaways or whatever it is, if you need that money to climb Mount Everest, the decision's easy. Don't spend that money. You know, so let the big picture determine the little bits that are happening now, today.
And because I mean, I'd imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, you know, your goal is to climb Mount Everest, but at times, did you feel like you had conquered yourself and you had achieved somewhere you wanted to be even before you went to Mount Everest?
Oh, absolutely. The entire process is a growth process, which is so nice because, first of all, you go through phases. You tell everyone, I'm going to go climb the highest mountain in the world, and they tell you you're crazy or you're stupid or irresponsible. And that in itself is a test. You've got to remind yourself that you're doing it for you and not them. And then you carry on to the next phases, which is physical training, mental training, and motivating yourself is a skill you actually have to learn. Just like your muscles improve at a gym, your motivation skills need to be worked out every single day. Otherwise, they do fade away.
So your brain, your head, your mind is a muscle that you constantly need to train every day to say self-affirming things to you. Otherwise, you're working backwards.
Sure. You tell yourself something enough times, you'll actually start to believe it. And very often, people will do that very easily with the negative stuff. Oh, I could never do that. I'm this, or I'm too old, or I'm too short, or I'm too, I'm from a poor family, or I'm from a history of bad business people. I could never do that. But when it comes to the can-do stuff, you forget that tell yourself enough times and you'll get it right.
You said something quite poignant where you said, you'll tell someone you're going to do something. They're like, oh, you could never do that. I'm very much, aware of people who are in your life, but you don't realize that they're not serving your purpose. Now, when it comes to removing them, what's your process?
So we all know about bucket lists. Have you ever heard of a chucket list?
Oh, no.
That's all the things you need to get rid of. So these people that are in your life that are always there to just tell you all the reasons why you can't do something, chuck them out. Get rid of them. Those things you keep telling yourself to give yourself some hurdles, chuck those out. I always tell people that I was told by a doctor that I'd never climb again and I wouldn't be able to run. So after climbing Mount Everest, I did the Ironman. Just because, just to prove him wrong. Because I didn't like other people deciding what my limitations were.
Did you go back to that doctor?
No, he moved to Australia, luckily.
No, should have posted him something. Be like, here you go.
I wanted to send him my medal from Ironman with a little jar of Vaseline. But I never got around to doing that, which would have been really great. And I mentioned it in the book, leave my limitations up to me. And you decide what it is and what it isn't.
Oh, can we take that? Can that be our mantra for 2018?
Sure.
Leave my limitations up to me.
For sure. And you can move them as far away as you want, or you can keep them nice and close. Well, not nice and close, but if it's important to you, you'll find a way. Not so important, I'm sure you'll find an excuse.
Robby, we'll leave it right there. Leave my limitations up to me.
Absolutely.
I think that's what we should go forward with. So throughout the show today, we went on a trip down memory lane with Oskido, who's a big advocate of believing in yourself. We got introduced to the symbolism of numbers in determining our life paths with numerologist Sandy Smith, and we're treated to some practical help from international motivational speaker Robby Kojetin on the show on how to take steps in achieving the things we want. Leave my limitations up to me. Here's the 2018. Goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. Like next year. Not quite. Okay, tomorrow on the 2nd. Bye.